Welcome to TAV TV. It's Monday, a new week, the 11th of September 2023. This is the newspaper review session where we dissect and analyze trending, catchy headlines daily. I am Obed Jerry, your host for today, and here with me is Mr. Victor Sioku.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope your weekend went well.
Yeah, soft.
Okay, that's nice. So moving on to the headline of the day, we start with Daily Sun. It reads, Tinubu Atiku legal battle shifts to US. Court hears Chicago University case tomorrow. Details of this story is on page 6. Insecurity, Catholic bishop taxed governments on armed proliferation, demand cuts in cost of governance. Details on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Death of DPO, police arrests 6 suspects in Rivers. Details on page 4. Court sacks Rep. Ugo Chinyere in Imo. Another in Kano affirms Senator Abamoro in Benue. Details on page 44 of the Daily Sun newspaper. So, Mr. Victor, what are your thoughts on this headline that reads, Tinubu Atiku legal battle shifts to US?
Okay, yeah, so the fight is still on. So people thinking that they will back down. I mean,
Exactly.
the Labour Party and the PTB to back down. I've seen that they are heading to
And
the
they keep
Supreme Court.
pushing.
Yeah, they are heading to the Supreme Court. But aside heading to the Supreme Court, there is a case in the US with respect to the University of Chicago,
Yes.
where it is told or said that Tinubu attended his tertiary education there. So what are the issues? The issues are that the PDP are saying that the president and his candidature submitted a result or a certificate that is saying 2 things. Okay? So the one that he had submitted before now and the one he submitted to INEC were perceived by the PDP as fake because they were not saying the same thing. Okay, the PDP are praying to the courts in Chicago to subpoena the University of Chicago to bring the certificate. The university, in quote, has refused to share the certificate, which the PDP had to go to court, then asking the court in the US, District of Chicago, to send in an order for the
Chicago
university to send in the result. So, what are the issues with the result, you may ask? We have an incident whereby, or the PDP have said they have an incident whereby the fonts in both certificates does not match. So different fonts in the writing of both certificates. One. Secondly, that the signatories to the certificate were not employed as at 22nd of June 1979 when the result was issued.
Okay.
So that the 2 persons that signed were not
employed as at that time. As stated in the results.
Yes, one was employed in 1996, the other was employed in 1998. So they are like, how would their signatures be in a certificate
when they were not employed as at that time?
Yes, but we need to wait. We need to wait and see. When things like this happen, emotions and all that happens. Okay. So, but we need to follow the law and then wait so that we can see what this result is talking about. Okay. So, so by tomorrow we should be able to get that information to know where the case has reached to. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the tendency of it becoming positive or negative?
Thoughts? I'm not. When it comes to Nigerian matters, especially in politicians, we've seen countless times where they present fake results.
Exactly.
It is not even just our politicians. Let's not even just talk about the politicians. Even down to the ordinary Nigerian out there searching for a job. Many people are wondering about, oh sorry, I'm using the word wondering about. Many people are moving with fake certificates. Okay? And that has also made us, in the eye of foreign companies, feel like, oh, come on, these people have plenty fake results in Nigeria. I'm sorry, but you know what I'm talking about.
Results be devalued.
Yes, yes. So that idea of fake documents has been a thing in Nigeria. Let's not shy away from that.
Exactly.
Even to some high-level schools, when you see some people will tell you that they have a fake result from a high-level school, and you just be wondering, how were you able to get that result?
How did you get it?
Yes.
The signature, everything.
Yes.
Will be real.
It will tell you. Okay, this particular case of saying, okay, the result is not, you're not using the same font. See, some people have some strong connections that down to exams and records can
they have powers.
Pull out a result.
Work it out perfectly.
Everything. So it happens. It happens. Before now, it was about when you bring a result, you check the seal, use the blue light, check this. But now, everything
is possible.
100%. So in a situation like this, just like the question you asked me, nothing is special, nothing is impossible. But yes, we also need to wait and find the true answers about this.
Exactly. While we wait for tomorrow's verdict on what will be the outcome from the Chicago University, we move on to the next headline of the day. We go on with this day newspaper. It reads, Tinubu to world leaders, G20 incomplete without Nigeria, says Nigeria ready to play leading role as Africa's largest economy market. Despair or surrender is not an option, Obi tells supporters. Fubara offers 100 million naira for information on killers of Rivers DPU. IG films, details on page 6 of this day newspaper. APC, PDP trade accusations over inscription on election judgment. Atiku demands to know whether Tinubu's legal team provided clerical services to Presidential Election Petition Council. We watermarked our copies of court judgment, President's lawyer clarified. Debunk insinuation of predetermined manipulations. Investments on their mind. Details of this is found on page 5 of the This Day newspaper. So, Mr. Victor, please help us throw light on your thoughts about despair or surrender is not an option. Obi tells supporters.
Yeah, it's not easy for the man called Peter Obi at the moment.
Exactly, because he has really been through a lot.
Yeah. It's
especially for a party that hasn't found its strong roots yet.
Yes, it has not been easy because even down to his party, especially with the ones in Rivers State and some other states, you find out that there is a disintegration happening here and there, and it's looking like he's losing some supporters. Okay,
exactly.
And it is really not easy for him. So he's coming out to cheer his supporters, to motivate them, to tell them, see, we cannot give up. Okay, we need to press till the last lap. Okay, so that is what is happening right now. But they really had a big blow on their faces, especially when the judgment came.
After the judgment was made, okay.
Especially when it comes to the FCT, the matter of the FCT, because they were really holding that matter
as a ground.
Yes,
exactly.
That Tinubu was not able to score 25% in the FCT. Okay, but we saw what then happened, the interpretation by the honorable judges, whereby they said that Abuja wasn't in quotes special, which also has triggered 7 states. Yeah, which also has triggered some reactions from Abuja indigenes. Okay, Abuja indigenes
now feel like you are belittling our almighty.
Yes, they are now asking for their own states.
Exactly.
Because of the judgment that came, the judgment coming that Abuja should not be treated outside other states. They shouldn't be treated as another state
on its own,
when being interpreted. So
now we are trying to utilize that opportunity.
We are a state. Since
now
give us as a state that we are not special. What do you need to do? Give us
what is meant for
a governor.
Exactly.
We should not be a state. Okay? So, and one might be wondering, oh, come on, Abuja is very small. You just have about, I think about 6 LGAs, but
yes.
Yeah, what do they call it? FCTA or so. But then, if you are doing by those counts, what about Bayelsa that is about 8 local governments? Okay, so, well, it's not for the National Assembly to know whether they should look into it. But see, there's something critical about all these judgments, okay? But yeah, we also need to wait for the Supreme Court, because what happens at the Supreme Court will be like a template for other cases.
Exactly.
Okay? Mind you, one will say, okay, we are still trying to modify our constitution, trying to modify things, and so that by the end of at the next cycle of election, we should have a better law guiding the game that we play. That's the election
especially
itself.
the Electoral Act.
Exactly. So, but P2B has come out to tell his fans, see, Rome was not built in one day. Also, he also mentioned the fact that nothing good comes easy. So you need to press on and press on. But let's see how it goes. Will he be able to sustain this magnitude of followers if anything sharp happens during the Supreme Court? Because actually, P2B are somebody that will, at the end of the day, will want to come out in 2027. I know some person will be out there and say, see, it is not yet over, but we still know that the majority of Nigerians too feels that, man, you cannot trust these judges.
Exactly, like you rightly said, because this election turn-up, high turn-up during this 2023 election is mostly as a result of the bad governance that everybody is tired of. Aside Peter Obi, there are persons that keep ethnicity aside, keep religion aside. They are just tired. They just want a good Nigeria. That is why they came out. So there's still a high tendency that come next election, there will still be a high turn-up.
Well, for in terms of high turn-up, I just pray that Nigeria sustain it. But mind you, what happened during the election is nothing to write home about.
Exactly.
Those action and inactions from the politicians, from the stakeholders, has watered down the powers of the people. Because elections should be about the people. Who are the ones to come out to vote, make sure that votes count, and see the result there. What about what happened in Rivers State, whereby many people were disenfranchised?
Exactly.
Okay?
Even in Lagos.
Does it now give people the hope? Look at the show that Motivator conducted during his show, asking Nigerians out there, will they want to come out and vote in 2027? Many people said no, that they were done with anything election in Nigeria. And it was, unfortunately, that we had people like the police that were supposed to enforce the law. We had also, let's say, the judges, the stakeholders, to come and protest the laws of the land. But unfortunately, look at INEC, the umpire. You ask INEC, bring documents to the court. They will not bring. Submit documents to the opposition party so that they will be able to challenge their cases. They will not bring. So these are the issues. Okay, INEC dodging, INEC set up some regulations, and they are shying away from the regulators and the promises that they've made to the people. How do you now want the same magnitude or number of persons to come out in 2027? It is a tough one, I must say.
That's true. On social media platforms, some of Labour Party's candidate Peter Obi came out and said he's being soft, he's being too cold, he doesn't act so active as they expected. What do you think about that?
What do they want the young man to do? To cause chaos?
Exactly, because one word from him would start a riot.
Yeah, and also we don't want a situation whereby he might say something and they will charge him for treasonable. Look at what happened to what's his name now, the vice president Dati. After those utterances that went to the TV and said, by the time the pressure was, they gave him some pressure. Have you heard him talk?
Since then, he has
not talked. Okay, do you want him to be? See, at the end of the day, aside God, the next person is the government. For the fact that the government has to shut down the mouth of Nnamdi Kanu, for the fact that he has to be shut down, anything can still happen. What might say? What about it? See, let's not go there.
Peter Obi is not above the government.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Exactly. Mr. Victor has really spoken well. The Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, isn't above the government. So somehow his hands are tied, his words are limited. And I think as a leader of a faction of some part of Nigeria, he is doing a great job by upholding peace in the states and all that. Well, stay put while we go for a quick break. Don't go nowhere.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. This is Tav TV's newspaper review. Like we used to do, we dissect newspaper headlines, we discuss it. And remember, we have here Mr. Victor Sioku, who has done a good job in analyzing the headlines that we read so far. Mr. Victor, you did so well.
Thank you.
So we move on now to the last paper of the day, Vanguard newspaper. It reads, fresh inflation fears as top firms lose 656 billion naira to forest woes. Details of this story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Anguish, chaos, gridlock over relocation of airline. Details on page 27. 26 die in Niger boat mishap, several others missing. Details on page 6. Why Nigeria should be included in G20. Foreign Minister Tuga says. Details on page 9. Wale Edun to Indian investors. Federal government removing obstacles to forex rates. Inflation stability. Details on page 25. Varsities in desperate situation, difficult to retain old rates, says Unilag Vice Chancellor. PEPT must explain Tinubu's imprint on judgments, says Labour Party. Details on page 9. Fate of Nigeria hangs in the balance, Catholic Bishop says. Details on page 5. So, Mr. Victor, I would like you to share your thoughts on this headline that says why Nigeria should be included in G20.
Well, Nigeria should be included in G20. You asked, I said yes. The G20 are more like the most powerful group in the world, because in the G20 you have, well, I say, 2/3 of world economies in that group. Okay, meaning that we're talking about over 70% of world powers are in that G20. And you also have a situation whereby there are businesses in the G20. Okay, so having that connection around those people means
those
that
cartel,
you can make some good discussions and reach out some agreements. Okay, now why do Nigeria needs to be there? Or what makes me feel that Nigeria needs to be there? One, Nigeria is the most populous black nation in the world. What might say, is it by population? My brother, if China are there, if you have India there, I beg, Nigeria should be there. Okay, I know we have our issues.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's not also forget that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. And why would South Africa be there and Nigeria
not be there?
Okay,
it's like a competitive thing.
No, it's not just about. See, by will I say, having the strength, the backbone, is it the military, is it the money, is it the human capital resource? Nigeria has it over South Africa. Please, let's not drag that matter. This is not about jollof rice and Ghana jollof. Are you getting me? So Nigeria is supposed to be there. Okay, we have what it takes to be among the G20. And I also need to congratulate the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for playing a very smart game this time. He was able to go to the G20 way before time, okay? And he had some good negotiations with people out there, with India, like I mentioned last week, making sure that some deals that were on the pipeline were finished. More promises were made in terms of bringing in deals to Nigeria, businesses to Nigeria, okay? He was able to see the president of the big United States of America. And that speaks a lot, okay? He was able to meet the Indian Prime Minister to talk about businesses. Okay, so I can't have, unfortunately, the Chinese president was not there. I think that somebody like Tinubu, and mind you, Tinubu is a good player. He mingles with people. He's somebody that can talk to people. He's somebody that can have a conversation. He's open to making friends. That's the kind of person. And see, that is why, if you ask me, that is why he is more like a superior, or he came, or he won.
Exactly.
He was able to gather votes because he's a man that is good with handling relationships. Okay, so like I said, it was a good one from him, and I hope, like I said, Nigeria has what it takes to be part of the G20. We need to stand or sit around the big boys. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes, I understand too that we have our issues.
Exactly.
The capital, the world capital country, or the number one capital country in the world, or what? Okay, we have it here in Nigeria. Nigeria speaks a whole lot of negativities and negative stuff comes out from Nigeria, but we should not also extinguish the fact that we have what it takes to be up there with the G20s, to make decisions for the world. Okay, it will be a good thing if it even comes with the Tinubu with his government, that at the end of the day that Nigeria are being part of the G20. Okay, exactly. You have country like Argentina. See, back in the days, I mean in the 70s, Nigeria was just so cool. Nigeria had what it takes. Nigeria had the money. Nigerian youth wouldn't want to travel back then.
Exactly, okay? Because here was conducive for everybody to live.
Nigeria have what it takes to be among the top leaders in this world and talk about climate change, talk about the military, talk about
utilization of natural resources,
how to exchange businesses, talk about trade and investment. Come on, we have what it takes.
Okay, don't you think this, our current political imbalance, is one of the reasons why we are not added, and we might not be added?
I think it's not just about political imbalance. I think it boils down to bad leadership. We've been churning out, bad leaders
consecutively.
Yeah, we've been churning out bad leaders. When we say I have come again, but we know that the last 8 years was just so bad for Nigeria.
Very bad.
We had it bad, both in terms of leadership and whatnot. Okay, so, but I just hope we need somebody to come and help this phase. Back in the days, during the time of Olusegun Obasanjo, and we should also give credit to him, he was able to bring out the image of the country, bringing people like Ukonji Iweala, bringing people like Dora Akunyili, who also came later with that her slogan of giving Nigeria a good face. There was this slogan like that she brought out, and we were just trying to give Nigeria a good face so that investors can come in. Look at what has happened in the past 8 years, taking us aback. That's so sad.
On a second thought, if Nigeria is added to the G20 cartel, and do you think we would turn out well? Do you think bad governance would not affect our union with the G20?
Well, we just hope. We just at the end of the day, it's just about hope. If we are able, one might be like we are fantasizing right here, because getting into the G20 is not a small thing to do. Even just recently, it's not just recently that AU, that's the African Union, were included. Back, it has been about EU and EU. Not that they had to press, and they were welcomed. As I mean, the AU. It is not. It is not a snap of the finger thing. It requires hard work and dedication, and to keep pressing and show that face, show that image. What are your indices with respect to human rights activities happening?
Exactly.
See, you need to
show reasons why you should be included.
I just hope that the current president will do his bidding and take us a bit higher, please, for our image. Our image needs to be public image. Very, very important.
On your own opinion, do you think the G20 will somehow influence the political standard or the government at large in Nigeria?
Well, we're joining the G20. I think the best part of not just about in governance, okay. After all, some of the countries even in the G20 are not just doing so good. Sometimes they have good leaders, sometimes they get the bad ones. What about Brazil? So what happened in Brazil? Bolsonaro and Louis. You find out that being part of G20 is not a guarantee that you have good leaders. You get me?
Exactly.
Things can still happen, but it is now left for some smart countries to be like, okay, I'm part of this group.
Utilize that
Let me
opportunity.
utilize it and enrich my country people. Are you getting me? It also, you will also need the right thinking leaders to make good use of that opportunity and make something good out of it. Yeah.
That's right. All right, we come to the end of this program. This is Tab TV's newspaper review. I am your host for today, Obek Jerry. Do well to like, drop your comments, drop your reactions, follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you very much.